some nasty weather out there, so I thought I'll make a video. And today I'm going to make shrimp fra diavlo to be served on the tofu shiritaki spaghetti. Now, I've had fra diavlo all my life, but I've never really made it before. So I did some searching online, and basically every single recipe I found has red pepper flakes. So this is the key ingredient. And the whole thing about fra diavlo is it's very spicy, and this is what does it. Other spices we'll use today are garlic powder, basil, and oregano. Some recipes also call for bay leaf, but I use that so often I decided not to today. Most recipes call for a dry white wine. I didn't have any, so I searched until I found at least 3 or 4 that said red wine. So I'm going to use a splash of that. Crushed tomatoes, I've got a cup, and sliced onions, and then your shrimp. So very few ingredients for this very tasty meal. I'm using frozen shrimp. I've thawed them out, but I think I'm gonna, even though, well, here they are, even though they're already cooked, I'm gonna heat them quickly in the frying pan as if they weren't, and then set them aside. And then we will cook the tomato and the onion and the spices for some time. Now, the shiritaki noodles are time intensive. There's a lot of work to using these noodles, but they save a gazillion calories, so it seems worth it to me. And in case you haven't seen any of my shiritaki noodle recipes, which I think there's only 2 anyways, you drain these, rinse them thoroughly, because they have what the label calls an authentic aroma. So you drain these, rinse them well, and then you parboil them. So you put them in boiling water for just a minute or 2. Then you rinse and drain and dry very well. Well, you can also put them in the microwave for 1 or 2 minutes in water. And that's the way I've chosen to do it the last few times I've used them. So I'm going to drain them, rinse them well, drain them again, put them in a bowl of water, nuke them for 2 minutes, and then drain them, and while they're drying, we'll do the rest of this recipe. And this is something that you have to eat like now, when you make it, or the next day. Don't freeze anything with the shiritaki noodles. Okay, so I'll be back. Hello! I forgot to tell you that I cut my shiritaki noodles because they're really long. That's up to you. And I have rinsed and drained them and dried them a little, and they're on this plate, which is going to be great when you put the sauce over it. But the drying out of them, I think the reason they tell you to dry them well is maybe so they'll really absorb whatever sauce you're putting on them more thoroughly and have that taste. And someone who watches the videos told me that she has dried them with a hairdryer, which I think sounds like a good idea. I may even try it, but be careful that you don't heat them, because you don't want to cook them, they'll get tough. So that was the only thought I had when she said that. So as I said, I'm going to briefly saute my cooked shrimp. If you have raw shrimp, you want to cook it all the way. And I'm going to do it with a couple of red pepper flakes and some garlic powder. And the reason I'm putting it in here and not in the pan is because I don't cook with olive oil. So I think olive oil is awesome. I don't waste it by cooking in it, frying in it. So I'm using the non-fat spray. So I'll just cook these for a minute or 2 and then put them back in. I'll rinse the bowl and put them back in the bowl. Then saute the onions with some spices and a little splash of wine. Then add a cup of crushed tomatoes in sauce and let that simmer for probably 10 minutes or so. So here's the shrimp. This won't take but a couple, well, I don't know how long it'll take, because I really just want to have them look cooked, not like boiled shrimp for shrimp cocktail. So that's why I'm doing this. And mine still have their tails on them. Actually, I'm going to use the tail to flip it. few shrimp in mine because that's all I had in the fridge. So sometimes I get these ideas that, oh, I'm going to cook such and such today, and realize I don't really have all the stuff that I should have. Including, I'm running out of garlic. Which, how can that be? How can I not have garlic in my house? Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's enough, just heating up those shrimp. Now it looks like I have about a cup of sliced yellow onion, at the most. But I'm going generous with the onion today. Because there's really not much ingredients in here. Onions and tomatoes. So you let these get just a bit soft. Go ahead and add some. Now notice, oh, you can't see it. But I have my water over here in case I need to simmer fry anything. Definitely now red pepper flakes. This is the fra diavlo part. Garlic. Wow! I'm getting all tickled from the red pepper flakes. What's this? Oh, basil. And garlic. Actually, I totally let the red pepper flakes up my nose and down my throat mess me up. Generally, when I cook something that's tomato based, I simmer whatever vegetables in the garlic. And when I add my tomatoes, then I add my oregano, basil, what have you. So I didn't do that just now because I got distracted. I added all my spices all at once, and I'm still just a little overwhelmed by my pepper flakes. So now I'm simmer frying nicely, and when that water gets out a little bit, I'm going to add a splash of wine, and I will add my tomatoes, and I don't think I need to add any more spices. Yeah, yay! Okay, I'm not just going to leave the camera running for no apparent reason. When, as I said, the water's going to simmer out a little bit, then I'm going to add a splash of wine, let that simmer out. Then I will add my tomatoes and let it simmer. I'll probably give you a shot of that. Let it simmer for about 10 minutes. At the very end, I'll add my shrimp back in to warm them up, and then I'll place them on my plate of shiritaki noodles. By the way, the shiritaki noodles have 40 calories in them. That's it. The whole bag has 40 calories, which is equal to about 10 strands of pasta. Sorry. Really not much. Okay. I'll be back. Here it is simmering away. I think it's going to taste really good. I should tell you that I added another half a cup of tomatoes, so altogether has 1.5 cup of crushed tomatoes. And maybe I did go heavy on the onions, but yummy yummy. So in about 10 minutes after this simmers on medium, low to medium, then I will add the shrimp, heat them up, and then this will go on top of the shirataki spaghetti. Okay, I'm adding my shrimp in now. The sauce cooked for about 10 minutes. I did add water while I was cooking because it got thick and I do want there to be some broth. So here are my shrimp. I am way light on the shrimp. So I'm giving you a great idea on what to use to make this. So you know you need tomatoes, onions, the spices you need, definitely the red pepper flakes, that if you use shirataki noodles you get a lot more bang for your buck, but you probably want to add more shrimp to your dish. Now you would add it to your noodles. Ah, there you go. Now I did add parsley on top, and if I were serving this I would definitely put some crushed red pepper on the table for your guests who like more.